Vinnie Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to VinnieTortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at VinnieTortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
He's like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dead fucker!
Party time!
Yes, it is party time. Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and it's always good to be seen. My name is Izzy Presley, and this is another fucking podcast. Joining me today is the great Vinnie Tortorich, and later on, my good buddy Dan Whenesota, talking about this killer book that he has. I'm going to show you in 1 second here as I'm done tweeting. Whenesota, there we go. This is, oh my God. If you're a Minnesota sports fan, you will love and hate this all at the same time. History of Heartbreak, 100 events that tortured Minnesota sports fans. I'm really excited to talk to you about that. You guys know the drill, all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And of course, the show page is another effing podcast. If you do like what I do, it's very, very easy to support the show. I have brand new shirts that are available. Vinny, you saw one of those pictures. And, and he's vomiting in his mouth right now. Or if you want to donate, it's really, really easy. izzypresley at yahoo.com is a PayPal. I also accept, all the other ones. You guys know the drill. Check it out. Welcoming back, he's a podcaster, the great podcast called Fitness Confidential. Does 7 shows a week, and I applaud you for that, because at five now.
It's always been 5 a week.
It's always been 5.
Yeah.
I thought it was 7.
Yeah, we do 260 some odd shows a year. But go on, keep talking good about me.
Oh, of course. And he's a fitness guy. He's the no sugar, no grain guy. He's got coffee, which I haven't tried yet. He's got all these great products, which I haven't tried yet, but I plan on it. It'll eventually happen, Vin. I promise. I just haven't gotten to it. But yes, I did watch the first Fat documentary. Thought it was phenomenal. And I'm excited for the new one, which is out next month, correct?
Yeah, it comes out in early January. I can't get past this. Before we go on, is that Mike Dawson on your T-shirt?
Yes, this is Mike Dawson on my T-shirt. He is one of
Does Michael sell those shirts, or what happened?
Yeah, he sells them.
So Aki, how do you even know about this? I'm friends with this guy, and I don't have his T-shirt.
So first of all, I got to do this. Vinny's going to cringe as I do this as well. Crack one for the drinking man. Nice cold hams. So, back when we could still be adults,
yeah,
and things were open. I was doing this show called Punchlines and Backlines, where doing stand-up comedy, and the gimmick of the show was we take a musician who's never done stand-up comedy before, and I thought, well, Dawson, he's a musician, he's wanted to do stand-up. Why not bring him on down to do it? And we became fast friends, and now he's one of my best buds. So
he is that kind of guy. I love that guy to death. He does a lot of intro work for me. He does the intro to my podcast now. And I don't know if you know this, but if you listen to my podcast, the stinger was also done by Mike, and also the intro music is from a song that he recorded called Circling the Drain. He loaned me that music. Also, you mentioned Fat, a documentary, the original movie. Mike Dawson does some VO in that movie.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So, I'm intimately tied to Mike Dawson. What a great talent. And I didn't realize there were T-shirts with Mike on.
Yeah, dude. They're great. They're great. Yeah, I hang out with him at least once a week. I go over to his place and we enjoy beverages and listen to music, and then he shows me his burritos that he made for the week. So, Izzy, it's burrito week.
Every week is burrito week for that guy.
Absolutely. Before we get into everything, you got the fuck out of California like a smart person.
I did. You know, I kind of took the temperature of things, and yeah, look, I'm just, you know me, I'm brutally honest about anything and everything I talk about. So I'll be brutally honest about that too. Um, we were living in Woodland Hills, in a sleepy community, a part of Woodland Hills. So if you can imagine, Izzy, I don't know if you've ever been to my house. Did you ever come over?
No, I was never invited.
Oh, that's for reasons. That's obvious reasons, actually.
Of course.
Yeah. Don't worry, I didn't invite Dawson either.
Blame you.
So I lived right where Woodland Hills connects to how you say Calabasas. So think of El Camino Real High School. I was right in that little sleepy community right there.
Yeah.
And I would also joke, but it wasn't really a joke, that the homeless would never come out to my neighborhood because it's just too damn hot. You live on the opposite end of the valley. It hits 105 where you live, right? 107.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Where we live, it goes to 112 because there's a dip in the valley there and it gets really hot. And I said, there's no way the homeless population will ever end up here.
Right.
And one day I'm driving out and I was like, one of my neighbors just got a really old RV, like a really old, crappy one. What the hell is this? And then I looked and went, another one of my neighbors just got an old, what are they going to be fixing these up? You know, what are they doing with these things? They were really crappy. And then like a couple of days later, I noticed there's a couch on the sidewalk, you know, next to the RV, and people are hanging out on the couch, and I'm taking note of this. And I went, oh my God, homeless is moving to my neighborhood. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I have nothing against homeless people. I feel for homeless people. I would hate to be in that position. I know most of them have drug and alcohol problems, and we need to figure out how to fix it. You know, this is not a problem that's going to go away. It's going to only get worse. And as a community, as a society, we have to learn how to fix it. So please, I don't need any more crap on Twitter or anything else regarding this. But the bottom line is my real estate was going to start going down. That's just the bottom line.
True.
And I don't play politics and I don't talk about politics or anything else. This is not about politics. This is about, I have a lot of money invested a half a block away. And then there was a murder in my neighborhood.
Jesus.
On the street. Sleepy community. They made it go away really fast. Nobody talked about it, the whole thing, but someone died on the street trading drugs right down the street. And all of the people living there were saying, this hasn't ever happened before. My mom's mom and dad lived here and they left the house to us and the whole thing. No one ever knew from murder in that area of Woodland Hills. And now we have murder, and now we have more homeless. Now we have tents. And my first question I'm good friends with Dr. Drew Pensky. And he said, yeah, he goes, these people are just defecating right there on the street. I mean, think about it. These mobile homes can't hold that much, and they're flushing it right out into the street. And I said, well, Jesus, like a block away. He goes, yeah. And, the rodents, the rodentia in your neighborhood and the raccoons and everything, they're going to pick up the disease from that.
The typhus.
And Vinny, don't you have dogs and cats? Yes, I do. Well, they're going to get it. And before you know it, it's going to be in your house. This is a fact. So, you call your local officials, they tell you there's nothing you can do. You just keep paying your taxes, pal, and we'll do nothing to help you. And I said, okay, I'm not going to be the last guy trying to sell my house on the street. I'm going to be the first guy. Now, I'm going to be honest, Izzy, and like I know we're talking about a movie tonight, but this is near and dear to my heart because I loved California, still do. You know, it's weather and everything is great. I said, everyone's talking about leaving. Everyone in the neighborhood, just quietly, yeah, we're thinking about leaving. My wife is retiring in 6 months, and then we'll both be retiring. And we're leaving. I said to Serena, I don't want to be the guy not getting the money out of this house. We can't afford that. We're not rich people, So we left. We left the state of California, and we've never looked back. We never, it's sad what I see. I saw a video last week. I watch videos all the time. Venice Beach is a shit show. I know where you live. I know exactly where you live. It can't be good around you, right?
Actually, where I am, it's actually not bad because they the Burbank police keep them out.
That's right. That's right. There's certain areas.
Yep. But if you go right on the border to North Hollywood, right by the Burbank airport,
right
there they are. We've had a couple situations where there's an apartment building across the street from our house, and I don't know, it's like a lot of actors and students, and they're in and out, and they just put all their shit out, in the cul-de-sac, which is great because free shit.
Right.
But then all of a sudden you get beds out there, and beds attract homeless people,
right?
And then we have to make the call. It's just, it sucks. It's unfortunate, but it's like, one turns into two, turns into, oh, look at all this,
Yeah, and I want to make another point about it. Where we lived on our side, literally the street that separates Calabasas from Woodland Hills it was about a quarter of a mile from my house, not even that. It was you can walk to that borderline in about 2.5 minutes. And if you went over into Calabasas, not one homeless person, nothing. So if you get to live where Will Smith and the Kardashians and Beyonce and all these people live, miraculously, somehow, no homeless people.
Right.
But you go one block over and it's homeless everywhere. So the people who say, we need to do something and we care and we really care, they don't care. And, and the other thing, everything started bothering me, a buddy of mine told me he lived in Calabasas, on that side of the thing. And he said, you're not going to believe this. I think I told this story on the Adam Carolla show, or maybe to Adam in private. He goes, you're not going to believe this. But a cop knocked on my door about a week ago and told me that I had to extinguish my cigar.
Oh, Jesus. Yes, I have heard this story. It's bullshit.
And I said, well, for your audience, I said,
yeah,
how would a cop know that you were smoking a cigar? He goes, I was in my backyard, I was barbecuing, and he goes, I lit up a cigar. I said, was it contraband cigar? Was it like a Cuban? And someone figured that out. You can't tell a Cuban cigar from, I guess, one from Nicaragua or anywhere else. Who would know? I wouldn't know. Would you know?
No, not at all.
I said, was it contraband? He goes, no. It's illegal to smoke in your own yard in Calabasas. And I said, so the cops, they rolled on that. And he goes, yeah, they came to my house. And he goes, look, they were kind of hat in hand and said, look, we hate to do this. But he asked the cops, how did you guys know? He goes, one of your neighbors turned you in. One of his neighbors turned him in for smoking a cigar. Now, there's a reason I'm bringing that up, because you can smoke a joint in public in Calabasas. You can walk down the street. You can walk down the street and you smell marijuana. That's perfectly legal. But a cigar in your own yard, a place you own, illegal. And that's when you look around and go, I'm living in bizarro world. None of this is making sense. And Izzy, I can't imagine what you guys are going through now. Are you able to make a living? I mean, they have you guys like sheltering in place, locked down. What's going on there?
I think a lot of people are just over it. And a lot of people are just basically saying, fuck you, I'm going on with my life. I'm a Lyft driver. That's what I have to do. Obviously I can't do gigs, we can't perform anywhere. And, people got sick of my freaking video streams of Izzy, stop playing that. tipping me to stop playing songs, which was fun and hilarious. But yeah, I drive Lyft. It's like, that's what I have to do. And it's not busy. It was when I first started back up again, when unemployment ran out, because I mean, Christ, they're going to offer me money to stay home. Yeah, I'm going to take that for as long as I can. And then I had money saved up, but still I'm like, well, screw this. I got to go work. I don't want to live off of the freaking government. I want to go work because I have to pay bills, and I don't want to deplete my savings, which are now depleted, but it happens. So it was really, really busy for a long time. And then after the election, it just kind of,
Wow.
but it also gets slower this time of year anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like after the election, it just kind of slowed down to shit. So now it's back to scraping, but I still got to work.
Man, I really feel for you guys. I wish there was more that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
My company is still in California. We're clipping along because we sell on the internet, and what have you. So we're clipping along, and I haven't had to lay anyone off, which I'm very proud of. It was very tough at the beginning of COVID. I was looking around going, man, if any of this starts to fail, there are mouths that count on me. There are people who have families that count on me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was shitting gold bricks trying to figure out how to make that work. But it worked. We're still in business. We haven't had to lay off one person, and I'm going to knock on wood, and I'm grateful for that.
I feel for the bars, the restaurants, I mean, because I'm a bar guy, I have a lot of people that are friends that work in the bar industry, and they're all fucked right now. It's just horrible, and Adam said it best. He's like, dude, the OC just said, fuck you. We're going bound about our business. And why isn't everybody dead?
Yeah.
I don't
know.
We're not going to get into that, but
I don't know how it works. I don't have enough COVID information to make a decision. I make my own decisions every day on what I do and how I do it. And I try to act accordingly and act safe and do everything I can. But it does seem to be, when people say follow the science, and I'll go, great, I shall follow the science. What's that science? By the way?
Yeah, right. Yeah, nobody knows. It's different stories from different sides. You don't know what the fuck to believe. Oh, Scotty checking in from Canada, so I got to play my Canadian. He says, Vinny, I know this may be in bad taste, but I just watched Christmas Vacation. Did one guy stand out of the RV dumping the sewer saying shitter's full? Actually, Vinny, I do have a question for you from a friend and a listener. She says she's asking about the no sugar diet. She goes, I get a lot of conflicting information concerning fruits, dried and raw, rice, bread, and unsweetened milk. And I told her I'd bring that up to you, see what you had to say about all that. I told her it's like, no rice, no bread. That simple.
Yeah, grains. And my thing is NSNG, no sugars, no grains.
Correct.
So yeah, that's all off the table if you want to be healthy and lose weight and what have you. But milk, look, whole fresh milk with a lot of fat in it is fine, but you shouldn't be guzzling it. If you want to pour a little bit in your coffee or your tea, that's one thing. But after your second birthday, you shouldn't be drinking milk anyway.
Right.
High fat cheeses and butter are fine. So yeah, stick with those type of things. What else was on her list?
Oh, it was rice, and then
I think you said fruit.
Yeah, fruits also.
Fruit is nature's candy. If you don't have type 2 diabetes, you're okay eating some fruit. If you don't have fatty liver disease or anything like that, fruit is fine. But remember, it's nature's candy. Sugar is sugar.
Right.
Your liver doesn't go, wait a minute, that was an apple. It just sees it as sugar. It's a lot better than eating a chocolate bar, of course, but you just have to figure it out.
Right. Well, and somebody had replied when I said, when I kind of commented on this, and of course she goes, wild rice and quinoa are better choices. I thought, oh, Vinny's going to love the quinoa.
Yeah. I made the Urban Dictionary with one phrase, and that phrase is fuck quinoa. quinoa, whenever someone goes vegan, and this started with me about 25 years ago. They go, yeah, I'm going vegan. It's like, where are you expecting to get your animal protein? Well, quinoa has a lot of extra protein. No, it doesn't. It really does. Yeah, look, if you measure it, there's more protein in quinoa than, say, rice. But, that's like saying, you have a Chevette, I have a Vega. Let's go out to the drag strip and see who's going to lose first. It's it's just not going to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So Jeffro Lee Roth jumped in and said, in Dallas Fort Worth, my little brothers are surviving, slinging tacos and burgers at the Last Stand in Bishop Arts District. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's so funny, and not to go back to this, but the thing that pisses me off the most is you get all these restaurants that aren't allowed to open or aren't allowed to have people come and sit in there and like be adults, and then right in front of their or right across the street, you got some asshole with a fucking taco stand. That they do nothing about that. Or the taco trucks or the food trucks, which
they're still working. Like all those roach coaches are still out there.
Oh yeah, and they're multiplying like roaches.
That's crazy. My good friend Mark Garagos, whose mom just passed away like 2 days ago.
Oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, she was like 90. I wrote to Mark, and also I know his brother Mike, and it's like, man, I'm so sorry. They're like, man, she had a great life, but Mark owns a few restaurants in LA. He's also Mark Garagos. He's the famous attorney that has gotten every celebrity off for something that they shouldn't have probably not gotten off for. And he's suing the state, saying, you guys are telling us to follow the science, but we're not seeing the science. Show us the science and we'll follow that science. And they don't have a leg to stand on. So I'm glad that someone decided to go after him a bit. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm living in Central Virginia, and look, it's not normal here, but you can go into a restaurant, you wear a mask when you walk in, you sit down, they have the tables separated, they don't have everyone piling in. We don't seem to have any worse COVID problem than anywhere else. I don't know what that means. Maybe people that live in one of the 13 original colonies don't get COVID. I don't know what it is. I was in Louisiana for 6 weeks taking care of my mom who got ill. And Louisiana, you want to talk about a state that don't give a fuck. That would be Louisiana. They would have on the door, you have to walk in with a mask. You walk in and sit down. Every single table is packed, right? Every table.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not even like skipping a table. Now, I know early on last year, Louisiana had a problem with the old folks' homes, the elderly homes and this and that. A lot of people died. They were trying to blame it on, and it could have been Mardi Gras. It happened right at the beginning of COVID, and maybe that had something to do with it. But again, Louisiana now doesn't have any more deaths than any other place, and they're packed into restaurants. As a matter of fact, I went to a restaurant one night and decided not to go back because I was taking care of my elderly parents. And I didn't think that was a very judicious thing. I didn't want to get the virus and bring it home to them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's crazy, that we're making it up as we go.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny because they had the first vaccination in Los Angeles today. And so, the hero Garcetti's making a speech, and he called Gavin Newsom America's governor. Like, what the fuck is wrong?
Are they trying to call that guy or something? Isn't he like? I don't really follow politics, but isn't he considered like a joke at this point, like a punchline? Or
they're trying to get him recalled. But let's move on to other shit, because we could sit and talk about this all night long and just piss people off and get more worked up as we go.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be a good governor, but I read somewhere, I heard something. They're recalling the governor. I was like, didn't they do that a few years ago with the governor? Or,
I don't know.
Yeah, LA is always going, hey, we want you to be the governor. No, not so much.
Yeah, it's fucked up out here. People, I mean, what can you tell people? I mean, I'm assuming you're still doing consults and all that kind of stuff, and still helping a lot of people. has your business gone up during this of people struggling with diets?
The consults are about the same. I honestly thought they would drop off a lot because, you call, you set up a consult, it's not free. I have to charge for that time. But the consults stayed pretty consistent. The one part of my business that we saw go up a lot is, my vitamin company, purevitaminclub.com. The vitamin D sales went off the charts, and they're staying off the charts. The mineral magnesium has gone off the charts too. So whenever something starts going off the charts, I'm assuming that somewhere in media they're saying that you should take this. And I've had a bunch of experts on saying, yeah, people should really be upping their vitamins and what have you. So, but we haven't seen much. We haven't seen any drop off. The companies are all. You mentioned my coffee company. Coffee is a natural antioxidant, and people just aren't going to Starbucks, so they're buying more coffee online. So I happen to weirdly be in the right place at this moment, which has never happened in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then we opened NSNG Foods, and we can't even keep up there. So those businesses are doing really, really well because of the pandemic. I'm worried about when it's over with, will they keep doing it?
Yeah, right. Vinny, I'm not going to lie. I was surprised when you did open the NSNG Foods because I thought you had said that you didn't want to do something like that.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to do a fake bar or something that has allulose or erythritol or some other fake sugar or crappy sugar. But I wasn't opposed to doing something that is just a pure food with no sugar or any grains whatsoever. And that's what we did. NSNG, it's called Ultra Fat. And you can now get it on Amazon too. It's almonds, it's real vanilla, and it's coconut oil all mixed up into a Mylar pack. So if you're out on a bike or, as you know, I'm a mountain climber and this sort of thing. And I'm always out and about. And I wanted to make something that people can crack open that literally has no sugar added. There's no sugar, it's just high fat. You're getting the good energy to go do this stuff. And I won't put out any other products unless it's like that. I've been working on a jerky for about a year.
Ooh.
So, I want to do that, and it'll be no sugar, but it's got to be done right. It all has to be done right. So yeah, I'm not opposed to doing more instant travel foods. It's just when people go, oh, this is keto and it's got allulose in it. No, that's not keto.
Yeah, I did want to, Vinny, I did want to touch on that because you see keto slapped on everything now, you know, and you just look at it and go, there's no fucking way. There's no way, keto brownies, get the fuck out of here. No.
Well, the one that gets me is when it says it's keto certified. I sort of want to go, who's certifying this? I didn't realize we had a keto king or a committee or anything. No one asked me to be on it, which would really upset me if they were certifying things and I couldn't be on that committee. I mean, I'm one of the forefathers of this movement. Yeah. But besides that, I say, like, when you read something that says vegan certified, well, there's no government oversight committee that's saying something is vegan certified. You can actually have a piece of beef and put vegan certified on it, and they cannot come after you, period.
Wow.
Food and Drug Administration won't. You can have a bowl of sugar and sell it and say, this is keto, right? Nothing could be further from the truth. They cannot come after you, right? So that's just the way it is. Same with paleo. You could take anything and call it paleo. Like, I saw something, it was honey, and it's like certified paleo honey. And I went, well, I thought paleo was about eating what they ate during the Paleolithic era. And the person told me, he goes, oh yeah, there were bees back then. So there was honey. So they were eating it. Like, okay, I guess. I don't, it's like people just make things up, and I'm not willing to play that game, so.
Right.
That's why I'm able to do movies and stuff like, and just tell the truth. And people, Gina Grad just watched my movie because I'm doing Adam Carolla show tomorrow, and they wanted to watch it. And she said, how do we not already know all this?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't know. The answer is, I don't know. You would think that people would be smarter than that, but we're not.
Yeah. It's just weird. It's like, people, if you haven't watched the first one, you have to go watch the first one. And did you get, well, I mean, because I don't think I've talked to you since that first one came out. I think last time you were on is when it was on its way of coming out. Then I had Peter on after that.
Yeah.
But was there blowback? Was there people pissed at you? People calling you a fucking quack? Which they always do, but
with the movie, they couldn't. A couple of very few people tried because, and I did this with the second movie too. That's what we're talking about tonight. But with the first movie, we thought there would be a lot of blowback. But when you take a history, and you can't deny that history, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went back to the 1860s, to the beginning of veganism, where a crazy woman literally woke up one morning. She was part of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Her name was Ellen G. White. She woke up one morning and said, God came to me in my sleep last night. And now, like, if that happened today, Izzy, like if one of you still have roommates?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If one of your roommates walked into the kitchen, you guys are having coffee, and one of them said, hey, Izzy, God came to me in my sleep last night, you would think the guy was hallucinating or maybe needs to go see someone, right?
Yes.
Maybe a 5150 hold or something like that. Well, in 1860, when Ellen G. White started talking about God coming to her, they just said, hey, what did God have to say? And miraculously, out of everything God could have said, he said, we shouldn't eat meat. We shouldn't eat any sentient beings. That was God's message to Ellen G. White, right? You would think God would say, maybe, a stitch in time saves nine, something. No, it's like, don't eat meat. That's what God had to say. And that's when modern day veganism started. And you can easily go track that. You can Google it.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to track. I didn't go get some crazy information. And we just followed the history after that, not leaving out one piece. So when you have something that airtight, the vegan community looks around and goes, okay, let's just be quiet and make this go away. The Seventh-day Adventist Church says, let's just be quiet and let this go away. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you could do when something is that airtight.
Right.
Let's not poke the bear. We don't want to wake him up any more than he's been woke. Ooh, I used woke in a sentence.
Call Ripley's.
Yeah. Look at me. I'm woke.
So, obviously, I watched the trailer for the new one, and it looks like you're touching a lot on like the fake meat, the Beyond Meat, and stuff like that.
A little bit on the Beyond Meat, because look, it's out there, and they're going, this is healthy for you, and it's not. It's not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy doing a documentary on something close to that called me today and asked me to be in his documentary, and I told him yes. But they're telling us, hey, Beyond Meat, we want all this meat. And, we actually have politicians in Washington now that are saying, we want to take meat completely out of schools. There could be no worse idea.
I agree.
I agree. We've already screwed up a couple of generations here, politicians. Let's not take their meat away too.
Exactly. Well, I mean, in their defense, I mean, is the shit that they're getting in schools actually meat anyways?
Well, I don't know. When I was in school, it was still meat. Right? It's barely meat, but it's meat.
Right.
Look, I mean, I want to say it was during the Obama administration. And I like, look, Michelle Obama was all about nutrition and health and everything else. But during that administration, I can't remember who came up with this, but they decided to call pizza a vegetable. When, in what world is pizza a vegetable?
It's got tomato sauce on it. It's got to be a vegetable.
They deemed it a vegetable. And So all the work Michelle Obama was doing, it was like, well, Michelle, can you go against this a bit? But she can't because she tried doing that, and the grocery store people came after her. Those lobbies came after her and said, "Hey, shut the f up."
Mm-hmm.
So they can never get anything done.
Right. No, absolutely. Which what avenues did you take like mostly in this second film?
I doubled down. Like in the first movie, I wanted to give a history, and I did. In this movie, we I hate to use this term, but it works here. Granular. We really dig in.
Okay.
We show you how Harvard is involved in, causing a lot of this problem with the grains and everything else. I show Walter Willett. I show a lot of these vegan advocate doctors who are just out and out lying to people, just bold-faced lies, just on daises at colleges saying that, oh yeah, you want to get rid of diabetes? One of them literally says in the movie, one of the vegan medical doctors, an MD, says, you can cure type 2 diabetes by eating 80% white sugar, plain white sugar, and the other 20% white rice. I'm not making, I couldn't make that up. It's at exactly 44 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wow.
I can tell you where it is. I did the movie myself. I could tell you exactly where that starts.
Yeah, that's actually in the trailer where he says that. Yeah, you can cure diabetes with sugar.
It's crazy, and vegans, when they do vegan propaganda films, all they do is lie. They lie on top of lies. I just wanted to show people how big the lies could be.
Were you able to get any vegan doctors to sit down and talk to you for the film?
No one will. They won't come on my podcast. They all have an open invitation, every one of them. And they all know what the first question is. It's like, look, you have an open invitation. You can come on my podcast whenever you want, any of you doctors. Question number one, without eating meat, how, and without taking an exogenous vitamin, vitamin pill, how shall a vegan get B12? And the answer cannot be from dirty vegetables because there's a little B12 in dirt. No one's eating a dirty vegetable. So how is a vegan supposed to get B12? You got to answer that first. I'm not letting you spew or do anything else. I'll cut your mic off until you answer that simple question. And since it can't be answered, and that, by the way, that's a vitamin that everyone must have. Your body does not make it, which means it's essential to get it from your diet. And so if you're not eating red meat, you're not getting it, right? Unless you take a vitamin.
Right.
So, in fact, veganism couldn't even be a thing before now. Before, since we have exogenous vitamins that you can take since the 1950s, it couldn't even survive in the 1930s and 40s. We hadn't discovered all the vitamins yet. Right. So, show me a healthy vegan and I'll show you a guy who's secretly eating meat. And that's another part. I don't really get into this in a movie. I'm going to do it in the next movie. The Chegans, they call them Chegans, people who they start off being vegan. They go down the rabbit hole and they proselytize to their family and friends and they do it. And at some point they realize, oh shit, I'm not feeling good. And they'll have meat one day and feel almost instantly better. Like they come alive, like blowing up a balloon. All of a sudden it's alive again. And they'll realize, well, wait, meat actually does make me feel better, but I don't want to, my wife became vegan because of me. We have vegan friends. We got, the whole thing. I don't want to lose that. Right. So they will lie and eat meat behind the scenes. Right. But, they'll just proselytize and say that they're a vegan, knowing that they're cheating. I actually know a vegan in the vegan community. Like he's a big deal and he's a Chegan. And everyone goes, well, isn't he a great athlete? Look, he's a vegan. He's a great athlete. No, not so much. What do you mean he's not a great athlete? It's like, no, he's not a vegan.
Right. Do you? You talk about this at least in the trailer, and it's gonna be interesting to see how farther you go down in the movie about how at first, when you go vegan, because you cut all that processed shit out, you do feel good because you finally get off of that shit. How far do you go down the rabbit hole in that in the movie?
Just a little bit, just enough to explain it, because most vegans, because I've interviewed a lot of vegans over the years, they became clients at some point.
Mhm.
And I would say to them, how long have you been a vegan? And they would say, usually somewhere between 6 months and a year. And because most vegans stop after 3 months, most people don't know that. They have to constantly recruit to keep the thing going. So they know that. Let's say someone goes 6 months. That usually you could feel good for the first couple of months. Around the third month, the wheels start loosening on the cart. By the fourth month, the wheels are falling off of the cart. And that's a problem because now you're going, wait, I was feeling great. The reason you were feeling great is you were eating whole vegetables. You might have been eating, even, rice and whole rice and stuff like that and beans. That's a lot healthier than what they might have come from, drinking a lot of soda, eating a lot of candy and processed foods and crap. Seed oils are a real problem. So once you clean all that up, it's almost like you're breathing fresher oxygen for a while. A lot of vegans will start by doing a cleanse, a juice cleanse, and they'll talk about feeling, more alert and feeling better and having a lot of energy. And that's all true at the beginning, right? But then after you get past that point, then all of a sudden your body goes, wait, where's the iron? Where's the red meat? Where's the stuff I need? And it's not there. And because you've cut that out with all the other junk food, and your problem starts that day.
Mm-hmm. Is there with when, for people that do go full blown NSNG, they you get that alertness too, correct? You kind of, it defogs
Yeah.
your brain a little bit.
Well, yeah, when people, if they go full NSNG and start to go down the road of dietary ketosis, when they start cleaning up, like on day 3, 4, 5, they might feel, we call it the keto flu. Some people call it the Vinnie flu, which I like because I'm finally something in life. I'm a flu.
Right. Hey, as long as they're not calling it the Vinnie crotch.
Yeah, you don't want Vinnie crotch. Vinnie flu is fine. But yeah, you might feel bad because your body is learning how to live without sugar, and the ketones haven't really taken off yet. And that could be a day or so. I tell people, drink a lot of extra water, have some electrolytes, have extra salt in your food, and you'll get past it. Like within a day, you might even get one bout of constipation or something.
Mhm.
But after that, you're on your way, and you start feeling the way the vegans feel when they clean up, except the feeling never stops. It just
Yeah.
keeps on.
It's funny that you mentioned add some more salt, and we've always been taught that salt is bad.
Yeah, not so much. That's another thing. People, I've had people say, "Oh, I can't have salt. Why? High blood pressure. Why? My doctor told me no salt, high blood pressure. Why? Because that doctors just spew what they learned in school. Um, there's difference between correlation and causation. Sometimes you'll have high blood pressure and it's connected to sodium, a lot of sodium in junk food. Therefore, salt gets a bad rap.
Okay,
Salt gets the same kind of bad rap as fat. And in fact, pure salt is actually, you need it. We need it to live.
Yeah, just like fat.
Yeah.
Lori from Australia wants to know what's the best and fastest way to cleanse your body. I would say take a shower, but that's a start.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to take a shower. There is no such thing as cleansing. Whenever I see, hey, get this liver cleanse or you can cleanse your body, just start eating right. Your body doesn't need cleaning. You don't want to wipe out electrolytes. You don't want to wipe out your flora and your fauna and all this stuff. There's a balance in your body. And, cleansing and all this BS that's out there, none of it works at all. So don't do it.
Let's see. Jeffro Lee Roth says, my wife lost 15 pounds, feels better, and has more energy over the past couple months after being 46-year-old who had been a veggie since 13. She cut out sugar, minimalized carbs, and had started eating more protein like eggs on a daily basis. I eat fucking steak and wings daily. Never had pre-diabetic diagnosis like she did. And now she's working on reversing that diagnosis with her diet. Looks very good for her, even though she is a veggie, but I'm ensuring more protein in her diet. What is the best way to get protein if you are a vegetarian?
If you're a vegetarian and you have eggs, eggs have just about, I'm talking about just a regular chicken egg, has every amino acid you can really hope for. So eggs are a good way. Some vegetarians are pescatarians. They'll eat fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's another great way to get EPA and DHA, the fish oil that you need. Very healthy for you. And you get some protein there. But eggs, fish, those are the two best ways. And cheese, you can get it from cheese, good high fat cheese if you're not having eggs and fish.
Sledgehammer says, I was peer pressured into eating a vegetable once. That's
I love that his name is Sledgehammer.
Yeah, and he's got a picture of the Blues Brothers as his little moniker gimmick, which is kind of cool. And I'm assuming you did this new movie like you did the last one, just totally funded by your listeners and the people that support you.
No, you're assuming wrong.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God, King, he's wrong.
Yeah, you're very, very wrong. Here's what I did. The first movie was crowdfunded.
Mm-hmm.
We got $250,000, and it took a lot of my own money to finish it. But I got it finished, and I said that if I at least got my money back, I would fund the second movie. Now, here's the trick. When we shot and Gina Grad had the same question when she was interviewing me. When we shot the first movie, we overshot it. As a matter of fact, a lot of doctors and experts we were talking to, all of a sudden they were like, wait, we were talking about this. Now you're asking me these weird questions. I was actually shooting two movies at once. I figured I had the crew there. I had the cameraman there. I just asked these people extra questions. You may notice in the first movie, I'm sitting in a chair by a fire. It's kind of a fireside chat. In this movie, I'm sitting with a different sweater on a screen that looks like everyone else. We shot that when we shot the first movie.
Okay.
So I shot the first movie with the second movie in mind, knowing that, look, we could have made that first movie 4 hours long. I decided to tell a story, keep it at 90 minutes. And here's the second one, Fat a documentary too. It's the continuation of the first movie.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was really cool how you did it the first one with the crowdfunding, and I just assumed that you'd be doing it that way. That I love the fact that you shot them both at the same time.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
No one knew that except me and Peter Pardini. And Gina asked me about because Peter couldn't work on the second movie. But Gina goes, man, you got the camera angles. No, that's all Peter's camera angles. He was still directing that first movie. We did the straight shot and the quarter shot on everyone. We had two cameras working at all times. We had a full Hollywood crew on that movie. And that's why it looks so good. And, I couldn't get Peter again, but, whenever I did this whole second movie by myself, whenever I had a question, he was on the phone right away. Peter, I'm here, I'm working on this. And by the way, I edited and directed and everything, this whole movie throughout this whole COVID thing. I had extra time on my hands. I was like, well, when am I going to do this? Right now, no one's working. We're all sheltering in place. I have a computer. I can sit here and start doing this. Right. And I started piecing it together. And before I knew it, I had a movie.
So you taught yourself how to edit video?
No. Well, I got a guy named Nick Pierce. And I would say, put this here, put that there. So I directed it. And I still can't work a computer. I'm sad to say. Here's the crazy part. The first movie, I don't know if you know this, Izzy, but the first movie became the #1 movie of all time that Gravitas has ever put out, the distributor.
Oh, wow.
We ended up beating Free Solo for well over a month on iTunes. We went to the top of Amazon Prime. This movie just did just gangbusters. Every time I got on an airplane, I would check, and it would be on that airplane. It's just it went around the world. And when I did this movie, I sent it to Gravitas. I called Gravitas and said, "Look, I'm just going to put this out myself. I don't think you guys would be interested." And Brendan Gallagher, the president of Gravitas, said, "Would you mind just letting me see it?" And, yeah, sure. So I sent him a link, and he watched it. I sent it to him, and 3 hours later, he got back to me. He goes, "We have to have this movie."
Wow.
And I said, "Really?" He goes, "It's better than the first movie." And I was like, "That's not even possible." He goes, "No, this is a better movie. You guys killed it in the first movie. This movie's going to outdo that movie." I was shocked to hear that from the head of Gravitas Ventures. And I said, "No, I'm going to just put it out myself." He actually made more favorable of a deal in my direction, which never happens in Hollywood.
Yeah, right?
Ever. They were like, "No, we have to have this movie, man. This thing is a hit." So, yeah, I can't, it's up for pre-order right now. I think if you go to Amazon, if you go to iTunes, can you do that while you're doing this?
Yeah.
Because I don't know how to do it. It's in pre-order, and Gina told me it was like number 1 or number 2 or number 3 or something. I was just on the phone with her before this.
Let me go. Apple
We were doing a show.
TV. All right. So go to search fat.
I just look up. I would look up iTunes.
Yep, there it is.
Where is it?
Right there. It's on because after with all the new updates, it's on Apple TV and not iTunes because they separated them.
Right.
So yeah, you click on it, pre-order coming January 1st. Pre-order at $6.99.
Yeah, they're running a special on it. I think that special ends, folks. So go get it right now. Does it say what position it's in? Because Gina figured that out.
No.
Because she just went to new releases or something like that, or pre-orders, and it showed the list. And she goes, "Oh, yours came up first."
Oh shit. Yeah, I see. I just did the straight search.
You did it backwards.
Yeah, I did. All right. So
I'd be interested to know where it is.
Releases. Actually, no, I'll go to pre-orders. Pre-orders. No results found for pre-orders.
Just go to documentaries. See if it comes up under documentaries. I got you working over there.
That's okay. It's okay. I
don't know how to do it. I would do it myself, but I'm not really sure.
No, it's all good. I'm good at multitasking. I can switch hands and gain a stroke.
You're a guy that knows how to. I love that, switch hands and gain a stroke.
All right, top results. Los Angeles Dodgers World Series champion. Ugh. Joe Bonamassa. Ugh. Yeah, this isn't showing the.
No, it would be in pre-orders.
Yeah.
Anyway, Gina found it somewhere. She told me she was gonna put it up on Twitter, so it's probably on her Twitter now.
There you go. And if people do want to pre-order, they can go to Apple. They can go on Amazon. Everywhere else?
No, just Apple right now, and then after January 1st, it'll be everywhere else. And
let me ask you this, because I know there was problems with where they had the movie on Amazon originally. Did that ever get squared away?
Eventually, yeah. For your audience, the movie is literally called, the original movie was called Fat, a Documentary. The word documentary is in the title of the movie. And they put it under action adventure. And, Gravitas called and said, "Hey guys, you guys put it." And then they put it under like rom-coms or, sports, something. They put it in every category except documentary. And the funny thing is that people were finding it there and buying it. And it was moving to the top of the list. Like it was like number 3 in action and adventure next to like Clint Eastwood movies. And it's like, come on, guys, quit messing. It had to be a vegan over there that just didn't want to put it in the right spot. But then someone figured out no matter what, it's kicking ass. So they just finally put it in. And as soon as they went to documentaries, they moved it right to Prime Video because it was kicking butt.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, true or false? Are these movies directly to dispel veganism?
False. It shows, the first one shows the history of how we got fat. The second one does the same thing. But the second one dives into the veganism thing just a bit more.
Okay.
You know, I'm not here to hammer vegans,
Right.
right? That's not
Hey,
what I'm
unless
trying
she's
to do.
really hot. All right. Hey, okay.
Hey, whoa. Bobby Brown, is she still around? My Louisiana girl?
She's in Louisiana. She moved home.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Look, you were supposed to have her on the next time I came on the show, by the way.
Yeah, but you didn't. Yeah, that's right. We could have did it like this. Next time, I'll reach out
Next
to
time
Josh.
I need Bobby Brown. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, you know, I didn't go hammer vegans at all. You know, I'm not upset with vegans. I'm upset with these doctors, these vegan doctors lying to people because it's putting out wrong information and people are getting sick because of it.
Yeah. Well, and it's just people need to know facts, and that's just all there is to it. Vinny, you want to give your social and all your links for buying shit again?
Yeah, you can buy my shit at purevitaminclub.com, purecoffeeclub.com, nsngfoods.com. I have a lot of shit to sell. My movie is on Apple TV, iTunes, so you can go there. You can pre-order it for like $6 and something right now. It's going to probably go right back up to like $12 or something like that. So you might want to get it today. That's going to probably end at midnight tonight.
Oh wow. Yeah. So
Yeah,
so it looks like
yeah. I don't think they're going to keep that going forever. So you can go check all that out, and you can find me on iTunes. I answer just about every question, unless Izzy is writing to me a lot. Then I'll answer about half of it.
right, or sending you pictures.
Yeah. Luckily, you DM that stuff.
It's because I miss you, Vin.
Yeah, I miss you guys too.
Dude, it was great to catch up. Yeah, buy his stuff. He's got the best vitamins on the fucking planet, and apparently the best coffee on the planet, and the best nut butter on the planet. So, and get the movie, Vinnie Tortorich, or actually, we should just rename you Vinnie Jesus effing Christ Tortorich. And you got that nice little Santa beard. You're gonna be playing Santa this year?
I do it every year. This started in high school. Whenever the nuns would let us out for the holidays, my brother and I, you know, when you got zits and they make you shave every day, when you're a kid, it's not fun. So we would just grow our beards out for 2 weeks every year. So I kept the tradition, and every year I grow a beard for about 2 months, 3, and it's completely white now, which means that I'm really old.
Yeah, mine's the same way. I tried doing that Movember gimmick, and I got about 2 weeks in, and I just can't handle it. It just annoys the fuck out of me.
It doesn't bother me. I'm used to it every year. I know it's going to be around for 2.5 months or so. I was on my bike today indoors, sweating my butt off, and you know it's draining through the beard. I know it sounds gross and the whole thing, and you know you gotta go wash your face immediately when you're done. Yeah,
Tortorich, everybody. All right, Vinny, it's great to talk to you, man. I know you got another interview coming up. You have to go through a whiz and make some coffee. So it's great to see you, and keep in touch. I'll let you know what I think of the flick.
Give Dawson a big hug for me when you see him.
I absolutely will. Vinnie Tortorich, everybody. First half of the show brought to you by A&P Laser and these great things that they do. You want something special for one of your close personal friends, your close personal parents, your siblings? Get them something laser engraved and super nice from aplaser.com and Beater Amplification. That's two E's, beateramplification.com. Badass. 100 fucking watts of testicular fortitude, 3 channels. These things are amazing. Check them out. Beateramplification.com. Also hit them up on Facebook as well. Be right back with Dan Whenesota checking in, talking about this great book called History of Heartbreak, 100 Events that Tortured Minnesota Sports Fans. And I think after Sunday, we can make it 101. We'll be right back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that rock shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsdesigns.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook for special offers and custom orders. That's sasspantsdesigns.com, sasspantsdesigns.com. Sass Pants will make you the envy of the party.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World Tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor. Fucking A.
All right, second half of the show brought to you by Mackie. You want to get into podcasting, you want to get into home recording, check out our great friends over at Mackie. Check out the studio bundles. Very affordable way to get in. Less than $500, kids. You want to do it? You want to try it? Hit up Mackie.com. That's MACKIE.com. And our good friend John Palumbo, you have a band, you have a business, you need a website done, you need a logo, anything done, hit up our good friend John Palumbo at johnpalumbodesign.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming to the show. We've been talking about this for a while. He was nice enough to send me this great book called History of Heartbreak, 100 Events That Tortured Minnesota Sports Fans. And yes, I put on one of those events right now with my Dallas Star sweater.
Killing me, man.
I know. I was like, I was going for the North Star sweater, and I'm like, I just have to twist it a little bit more. Look at that beautiful logo. God damn. I love it. How you doing, man?
I did the same.
How you doing,
I'm doing
man?
good. It's nice to finally meet you.
Likewise. First of all, I mean, how long have you been thinking about doing this book? This is great. This is really well put together.
Well, the book kind of fell in my lap. This whole project started out as well, I'm sure you've seen the Believe Land documentary. We were just talking about documentaries with Vinnie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll start it when I watched the Believe Land documentary in 2016. And, it's all about Cleveland and their sports heartbreak. And don't get me wrong, they are completely tortured. But as I'm watching it, all these events that they kind of use as their kind of pillars of heartbreak have a corresponding event. Like you're watching it going, wait a second, that happened in Minnesota. Like they talk about bad trade, right? Well, we got Herschel Walker trade. They talk about Ernest Biner's fumble. On that same day that Ernest Biner dropped that ball on the goal line for them, that was the same exact day that Darren Nelson dropped the ball on our exact same day, right?
Oh, God. Funny, hold on really quick. Funny story about that. I have a good friend, Randy Smith, who thinks Wade Wilson's the greatest quarterback of all time, bar none, and he'll give you stats. And he hates Darren Nelson to this day for dropping that ball on the goal line, stopping Wade Wilson from going on to win the Super Bowl with the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, I heard the pass wasn't even intended for Wilson. If you watch like the side angles, it looks like Anthony Carter is standing right behind him. So the pass was actually intended for somebody else. I heard that with one of the players that was there, and I can't remember who it was, and I can't document it, but it wasn't even intended for Nelson. But there's another part in that film where they talk about the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cleveland Cavaliers were owned by a guy named Ted Stepien, and he was just a bad owner and was trying to move the team. So everybody hated him. And then these two brothers called the Gunn Brothers came in and saved the team, and the arena is named after them now. But in the film, they show a North Stars flag, a photo with them and a North Stars flag behind them. And I'm like, so I'm already getting angry watching this movie, and I'm going,
Of course.
Now you use a North Stars flag? So I got this idea to kind of to make a rebuttal to this whole thing. And I was trying to come up with a catchy name, kind of like Believe Land, but something with Minnesota. So that's where the Whenesota came from. Like, when is it going to be our turn? When are we going to be? Because at the end of the Believe Land documentary, they win a championship. They win the NBA championship. I think it's the 2016 NBA championship. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, well, when is it going to be our turn? So I kind of created this not very legal documentary on the internet and things. And we had this premiere in the garage with friends and family, and made a big fun deal out of it. And I got cups. I think I sent you some cups, right?
You did.
Cups. We had like popcorn and, popcorn machine, and just had a fun deal with it. Right. And one of my friends, who old friends from college, I used to write for my school newspaper, just like kind of opinion columns, nothing really fancy. And I look back at them now, they're just terrible. I can't believe they let me write. But he said, maybe you should start writing again. Maybe you should start putting together a blog, just maybe get the idea of this film out there. And so I started writing a blog, I created a webpage, did all the trademark and copyright and all that stuff. And one of the blogs that I wrote was called On This Day in Minnesota Sports Disappointment History. It came from Super 70 Sports Guy, who, by the way, Ricky Cobb, has been very helpful to me and willing to answer questions. And he's emailed me a couple times, giving me advice and things. Really cool guy, not pretentious or anything at all. Really cool. But he posted on one of his tweets about the anniversary. It was like the 54th anniversary or something of Jim Marshall running the wrong way. And I kind of thought to myself, man, somebody should really put together a list of all these Minnesota sporting events that we've kind of gone through. And then I went, well, wait a second, that's me. That's kind of my bit. Maybe I should do that. So I wrote this whole blog, and I started writing down the ones that I could think of, right? All the ones that I could remember. And then, one day I'm listening to Barrero, our friend Barrero on KFan, and he, on Sunday sermons, asked for people to send them their worst Minnesota sports moment. Well, I sent him the whole webpage, the link, and he emailed me back like immediately. He's like, dude, I love this. I want to use it, blah, 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 blah. So he renamed it, and he started calling it the Calendar of Calamity. And they started using it as a daily bit. And that went on for about a year. And then in 2019, Corzo on a Sunday morning wanted me to be on the air. And that was kind of like my first on-air appearance. And the next day after being on with him, I got an email from a publishing company that said, we want you to write a book.
Wow.
Is this like real? I mean, I'm a rube. I have no professional writing training or anything,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just an idiot sports fan, no media cred or anything. So yeah, that's how the book started.
Yeah. I just love this. Like, you can just randomly open it up. Like last night I was just randomly opening it, and I came across, that Minnesota sports iconic name, Scott Ledoux, and Howard Cosell with the wig. Why don't you tell that story?
Well, so that one, again, came from one of my coworkers, actually, who was kind of like really getting into the bit. And he's like, we kind of had a debate about whether we should have individual sports in there, like Olympians or those kinds of things. And so we kind of made our line as like championships. Like if they, like I think that was Scott Ledoux had lost like 3 championship bouts or something. So that kind of put him on our radar. But then we kind of looked it up and found out about the whole toupee thing. So I can't remember who he was fighting. Right now I'm kind of blanking on it. But it was a fight, and it was pretty much rigged, it sounds like, from the beginning. And he had it was a fighter by God, what was his name? And who was the guy, the hairdo, the manager?
Oh, Don King.
Yeah, Don King was his manager. Okay. So the whole card was rigged, and they even told Ledoux beforehand, you don't have a chance at winning this, right? So at the end, when the decision was announced, Ledoux lost his mind, and there's video of this on YouTube. And he goes over as Cosell's on the side of the ring announcing, and he takes a swipe at Howard at the boxer he's interviewing that he was fighting, and somebody steps on Cosell's cord, and it rips his toupee off on television.
Oh my God, that's just fucking gold.
Yeah.
It is just gold. Of the events that are in this book, are there any that you were there to witness in person?
A couple. I think I talk about the well, first of all, the Gopher 2003 loss to Michigan. That one I was so you probably remember the Metrodome. Our seats at the Gopher games were right by the Twins bullpen.
Okay.
Right? Remember they had that little ledge protecting the pitchers there?
Yep.
And that's where kind of we used to set our beverages and things, is right there. We were right there. That was where we sat. So that's where, and that was also the visitor sideline. So the whole game, we're just, get out the jug. I'm screaming at these Michigan players, I want to see it. Let me see the jug. We were up by 21 points in the fourth quarter there. And,
yeah, that's right.
And we ended up losing. I think we actually scored one touchdown there. So Michigan actually scored 35 points in the fourth quarter and came back and beat us. And I remember, this is the part that I remember. I don't remember a lot of the details of the game. I do remember that you could see the collapse coming. I remember that it felt like they were running the same play over again. It was a screen pass to Chris Perry, and they were just going right and left, and we couldn't figure out what they were doing. It was the same play. But I remember at the end of the game that I sat there with like my head in my hands, just kind of trying to process what just happened. And I just felt like I, sick to my stomach, just like what just happened here? And, after screaming at those players, and I just felt so stupid, so dumb. But that's one of them that I was at.
Yeah, it's like the game's over and you just kind of slide down. Did anybody turn around and go flick you off?
Yeah, there were a couple players that let us have it back, and
of course. Do you miss the Metrodome?
I miss parts of the Metrodome. I miss we used to go, like when the Gophers would be getting destroyed, we'd usually leave at halftime, if we even made it to halftime, and head to the rally room. So you probably see me post about that on Twitter. The rally room are some of my favorite memories, being in there. My buddy used to have, he was the guy that had all our seats. He was one of my fraternity brothers. He had seats right behind the Twins' wives. So we literally sat right behind the Twins' wives, which was, always nice. My wife's in the next room.
Especially when Minkiewicz was there, huh?
Right. Yes, that's where I'm going with that. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know that I miss the games there and the atmosphere there, but that's really all that I knew growing up, because I never got to see Met Stadium. I got to see Met Center a lot, but I never got to see the baseball and football stadium. So it's one of those things I kind of wish I would have got to, the way people talk about it. And all that I've studied about how they decided to move to downtown and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Target Field. I like the little bars and things in there, and I like the food. You can only eat so many brew brats and dome dogs.
Right.
So the variety of food has gotten a lot better. US Bank is amazing. A football stadium. I've been there a couple times. But yeah, I don't know that I necessarily miss the dome.
I kind of do. I maybe it's you missed that thing that you didn't really want. It might be that, but I mean, I have a lot of memories from Metrodome. I mean, when I started covering the Twins, it was in the Metrodome. It's like, going on the field for the first time for BP, and just shit like that, and I was covering game 163, and I was up in because I was writing for a fucking rag, not like the Trib or anything big like that. So they put us up in the auxiliary press box, which was right field. Which is the main Vikings press box. So
do you remember the when they would play A Beautiful Day at the end of the game? I kind of missed that a lot. You'd be walking up, ready to go head downtown with your buddies, and beautiful day. It's a good memory. I love that memory.
The night of the 163, I was lucky enough. I mean, because I was covering the game, I was lucky enough to be in the freaking in the clubhouse for the celebration. I was lucky enough to be in there, and I remember I was interviewing the guy that looked like Dr. Cox, the backup catcher. What the fuck was his name?
Tim Laudner?
No.
Backup catcher.
Backup catcher. He was the nude guy. He always like streaked in the club.
Was it LaCroix?
No, not LaCroix. He was a veteran. He was a veteran, wily veteran. I think he's the one that started the smell 'em gimmick.
You got
God
me on this
damn it,
one.
I can't think of his name. So anyways, I'm talking to him, and all of a sudden I feel this beer get poured over my head. I look around. I look over. I'm like, oh, it's Joe Nathan. He's like, whatever. But the coolest part about that whole thing was watching Ron Coomer stand by the entrance, and he's wringing his tie out, wringing the beer out of his tie into his mouth. It's just so fucking classic. But
that's cool. You got to do stuff like that.
I'm very, very, very privileged, and I can't believe I got to do stuff like that. You know,
I got to do it once at a Saints game a couple years ago, and it wasn't any media thing. It was like I won I got the in and entered quick enough. You know, they had a little kind of gimmick. And it was really fun being in the press box, and I got to sit next to Joe Schmidt. It's just kind of nice to have that behind-the-scenes feel. I mean,
yeah, dude, I got so spoiled. I was so spoiled. I went to Dodger Stadium once, and I'm sitting out in the fucking bleachers in left field on these hard wood fucking bleachers, and I'm used to being in the press box in my cushy chair and my laptop in front of me, and Peg firing up the free hot dogs, and
yeah,
I was like, yeah, I just can't do this.
So I was just saying, my buddy, that he owns a little like pharmaceutical company, so we always had good seats. I can't go to games now and sit. Like, I took my son to a Timberwolves game a couple years ago, and we were up there,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just seat snob now that I can't do it.
Yep. I think the worst seats I ever had was for a Timberwolves game in the Metrodome. I think we were in upper level in left field.
Was it in '89?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of where you asked about any kind of personal games or things. So I was at the first Timberwolves game, and I'm guessing that's what you're referring to, is those first couple games there, the Michael Jordan one.
No, it wasn't that. I think we were playing the Bucks or something like that. I was supposed to be at that game, but I had pneumonia, so I couldn't go.
Oh. Well, so our first draft pick, expansion draft, was Rick Mahorn.
Yes.
And I was in high school. I think I was like a sophomore, and my mom, as soon as it was a Friday night, and I came home from the high school football game, and my mom said, "Hey, there's a message for you on the answer machine." It was one of those old big ones with 2 cassettes and everything like that. And it was KSTP calling, saying that I had won a drawing that my mom had apparently entered me for, that I had no idea. And I was supposed to go downtown the next morning and play basketball 3-on-3 against Rick Mahorn. And I've got footage of this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
But this is the Rick Mahorn that had just won the NBA championship the year before with the Pistons. He wanted nothing to do with me, right? But it was him, it was Ty Corbin, and it was Pooh Richardson. And I get on and so this is Minnesota '89. There was no Amazon, there was no eBay. You couldn't just go get Timberwolves gear anywhere because it didn't exist.
Yep.
Right? So I wore the only NBA thing I had, which was a Michael. Remember those big head T-shirts?
Yeah.
I wore my Michael Jordan big head shirt because that's all I had. Well, I didn't know, because I was an idiot, that he had a fight with Jordan the year before, right?
Oh, shit.
So I walk on the court, and the minute he sees me, he goes, "I'm taking that guy. Like, I'm matching up with
Fucking
this guy."
Ward.
Now, granted, I'm 5'8", okay?
Yeah.
Taking this guy right here. And the minute I get on the court with him, he starts shoving me and pushing me around. And I'm sure he's mugging for the camera, right?
Oh, yeah.
But at one point, he shoves me and hangs onto this shirt, and it just ripped up the side. So I grew up thinking, like, this guy, he like totally just, he ripped my, Michael Jordan shirt. What a jerk, right? And then 2-3 weeks later, he asked for a trade and left. They traded him to Philly. Well, a couple of years ago, you end up watching the Bad Boys documentary, and you see what happened to him, and you see that he was kind of the leader of that squad, and they left him unprotected, and you kind of feel bad for him. And I felt bad for, just kind of thinking poorly of him. And then, me wearing that Michael Jordan shirt, did that somehow, like, in my crazy head, did I push Rick Mahorn away, in my head? So that's just another kind of little event that I personally was involved with. So.
That's fucking great, man. How much do you get into the North Stars in this? Because I'm assuming that, I mean, obviously I looked at it, but I just want to hear you talk about it.
Well, I do a little bit, and I got to be honest with you. I think I kind of told you this in our pre-chat that I don't remember. I remember Met Center. I was there a lot.
Mm-hmm. How old are you?
I am 47. I almost said 30. 47. But when I went there, I was so young. I don't remember the specific games that I saw. I remember always wanting to go to the souvenir stand and get a foam finger and things like that. So I don't remember a lot of the details of these things. And it gets worse when you get older, when you have kids. Like, I just what I'm trying to say here is I don't even remember some of the details of the things that I write sometimes. So I know we got into well, it's funny though, because when they first offered me the book, they told me they asked me if I wanted a ghostwriter, and I'm like, no, I don't want a ghostwriter. I want to do the research, because if I'm going to have to go on, radio shows and answer questions about this, I don't want to not know what I'm talking about. Well, I still have to look back at my notes now because there's just so many details of all these things.
Right.
So we go through the North Stars leaving. We go through Dino and his troubles.
I have a great Dino story. So
I'd love to hear it.
When I was covering the Wild, I used to sit with Lou Nanny in the media dinner, before the game, with Lou and Shooter and a couple other old timers. And,
oh my God, I can't imagine the storytelling there.
Oh my God, it was great. It's I saw this post about, I think I tweeted the screen cap of it. It was a Lou Nanny story about Link Gates. It's we drafted Madonna to save the franchise. To protect the franchise, we drafted Link Gates to protect Madonna. We should have drafted a lawyer to protect Link Gates. Lou Nanny. And the one that I can remember is we were talking about Dino, and when with the indecent exposure thing, when people don't know the story. Dino walked out to get his mail in his fucking bathrobe with nothing on underneath it. Lou told us the story because he was the GM at the time. So he goes, I remember I was in the kitchen. It was the day after Thanksgiving or something like that, or whatever the date was.
Yeah, it was November 25th, somewhere in there.
He goes, it was 6 a.m. and the phone rang. I'm like, who the fuck is calling me? And he goes, the wife answers, and she goes, Lou, the sheriff's office is on the phone. He goes, God damn it, which one of my guys got a DUI? He gets on the phone, he hangs up, he goes, God damn it, I wish one of my guys would have gotten a DUI.
Jeez. Well, so I've heard a couple different versions of that. The newspaper said he had a bathroom in his garage and the one inside wasn't working. I've also heard too, and I always worry about with this story, because if it was if it was a sexual harassment type thing, I always feel bad joking about it then. But I heard too that his neighbor had gotten mad at him in the past for mowing his lawn with his shirt off. She didn't think that was appropriate in their neighborhood. So his response was to do the opposite with his shirt. Now, if that's true, and I can't document that, if that's true, it's brilliant.
Right. I know you do have it in here. When they came back and played a game at Target Center after they left for Dallas.
Yeah, the Ottawa Senators game.
I was at that game.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Tell me more. I'll interview you.
We just got hammered. It was our boys are back. I think it was the following season.
It was December. It was 8 months after they left.
Yeah, it was just I can't. Why are they doing this? Is this torture?
Were people angry?
Oh, it was a lot of Norm Sucks chants. And then I was at the first time Dallas played the Wild. I was at that game when we blew them out.
Okay.
It was so weird, and this is why the thing I hate about the Stars winning the freaking Stanley Cup is you have the most hated goaltender that we ever had on an opposing team, Ed Belfour, and Brett fucking Hull, who we hated because he played for St. Louis. It's what the hell's going? Oh my God!
You know why they came back though in that '93, right? You know the story, and that's kind of part of the story of why they left. A lot of people want to blame Norm, and yes, he did move the team,
right?
But the North Stars didn't own Met Center, and they were getting seized by the Metropolitan Sports Commission to move downtown. So when Norm finally called their bluff, that left the Marvin Harf, who owned Target Center, without a tenant, and they were kind of banking on that, and they had a lot of shady financing. So their buddy, Gary Bettman, who had just become the commissioner at the time, they knew him from his days in the NBA. They talked him into having this, what they called the Target Center series. And there was 6 games that were played at that time in December of 93. And like one of them was that North Stars game. So that's why it happened.
Wow. Yeah. See, I didn't know that. I don't even remember do you remember the other games that were played?
There was 4 NHL games. I don't remember exactly which ones there were. And then I think there was a Gopher game, and then a couple like USA team exhibitions.
It was weird watching hockey in Target Center. It really was.
Yeah, it wasn't the best environment for hockey.
No. Look, the Met Center was great, man. They always said it had the best ice in the league. You had the parking lot. Granted, nobody went.
Yeah.
But the tailgating, it was an event. It was great, man. It just
was a cool little arena, man.
Oh my God. It's just, I remember, I had a Basil jersey. It was one of the black
He was
ones.
my favorite North Star.
I wanted to get Trilla, but there was a girl that said, no, get Basil. So I'm like, okay.
Basil's my favorite, man.
And it was done shittily. I didn't go to the place that I should have went. I went to like some other sports shop, and they just did a shitty job on it. And the people at Centennial, where I get all my stuff done in St. Cloud, they're like, you wore this in public? What the fuck is wrong with you? But I remember sitting there, and I don't know what game it was, but like that, up until that last season, you could literally go day of game and get tickets on the glass for $12.
Yeah.
It was, the good old days. Some guys like, dude, I'll give you $200 for that jersey. I'm like, no, I like this jersey. Not realizing I could take that $200 and go up to the store in the Met Center and buy an authentic fight strap and all for $75.
Nice.
Dumbass. I'm just a dumbass. If you,
that's what we are.
My God, we could talk about all this shit for hours. Is there one thing in here that stands out to you as the most heartbreaking? I know you've got like 1 through 100, but there's got
personally for me, it's got to be the 2009 NFC Championship, because that was the one for me personally where I started believing again. You're like, like the week 4 with Favre to Lewis. Like when Brett Favre threw that pass to Greg Lewis in the back of the end zone, my wife will vouch for this. I like passed out. I stood up so quick I was cheering that I passed out and I hit the floor. And just so exciting again. And you starting to believe that maybe the curse and this was going to be it. And when they're in the NFC Championship in New Orleans, and we're starting to drive there, and then at first my first thought is, oh, Longwell's going to miss this kick, right? Longwell's
of course.
That's where my mind goes, right? But then the interception happens, and the 12 men on the field first, because Childress blew a timeout and then still didn't know what his play was after a timeout and got to delay a game, and that pushed us back, and then Favre across the body, and that was it. So for me personally, that's probably the one that has made me the most jaded. Okay, I started believing again. It's like when you take that ex-girlfriend back and you're like, okay, I trust you again, and then they cheat on you again, and you're like, all right, never again.
Yep.
I mean, I'm still a fan. I'm still going to watch. I'm still going to hope for the best, but I also prepare for the worst. You can feel it coming. It's coming.
I remember the one at TCF Bank when he shanked it. It's like Walsh. You knew it was going to happen. You just knew it was coming. You know it. It's that's what it's like being a fucking Minnesota sports fan. We have the 2 little dangly trophies there for the Twins.
For the Twins. Yeah.
But
that was because, you know what? People are like, well, if there's a curse, why did that happen? Because we had Kirby Puckett. Kirby Puckett was a once-in-a-lifetime athlete.
Yep.
And that's why I thought when, Favre came here, that might be the turn, right? Kirby Puckett was bigger than the curse, and he was able to overcome that.
Do you think there is a curse? And what do you think is the reason for the curse?
What can it be? I mean, you watched that football game yesterday. I mean, what is going? I mean, and why kickers? Why is it us and kickers?
I don't know. I mean, what? It's like the Sox. It was the curse of the Bambino. The Cubs. It was the curse of the
Billy Goat.
The Billy Goat.
Yep.
What do you think is the reason for the curse on the Minnesota Vikings?
Oh, for the Vikings, man, honestly, I think it goes back to 61 when they were choosing their coach. The first coach was Norm Van Brocklin, but he wasn't picked right away because there was 5 owners, and 3 of them wanted Van Brocklin, and 2 of them wanted the Winnipeg Blue Bombers coach and former Gopher and former Minneapolis Laker Harry Peter Bud Grant to be our coach. And Bud Grant, because he didn't want to play second, said, you know what? I'm just withdrawing my name. If you don't want me, I ain't coming. And they overlooked him. And having Van Brocklin, so they hired Van Brocklin like hours after Grant told him, said, just take my name out. I'm not playing this game. And as you probably know, Van Brocklin, he quit a couple times. He benched Fran Tarkington. Tarkington asked for a trade. He got traded to the Giants.
Yep.
Van Brocklin quit the next day for the second time. And guess who they hired after that? Bud Grant.
A man who could still kick your ass.
Yeah, at 90, what is he, 98?
Yep. Scotty checking in from Canada says, my first Ottawa Senators game was against the North Stars in 1992.
Nice.
There you go. There you go. But it's like, I'm going to start crying if we keep going. I really am.
Well, see, now that's the whole point of this project was to laugh about it, right?
Yeah, I know, but it's like you start looking at it and go, oh. But I do love the fact that you got Willie fucking Plett right on the cover.
Well, the cover, I think I've told you this kind of before. The cover was kind of a contentious thing. I kind of fight to get some pictures on there, especially the Gary Anderson one. I really pushed for Gary Anderson.
Yep. Dan, if people want to buy this, I'm assuming Amazon. Is there any other outlets?
Amazon. You can go to my website too. It's just Whenesota.com, and there's a link there to Amazon. There's a link to the blogs that I do. There's a link to my films I'm currently working on. As you know, I eventually want to interview for it. My North Stars film, The North Stars State.
I promise not to wear this. Hey,
but,
at least it's our boy Mark Parrish.
Right. And so the first part of that film, the kind of in the beginning and first season of the North Stars, is on YouTube for free, and so is the Whenesota film. Now that I've done it legally with legal photos and things like that, because one wasn't. But those links to all those things are on my website, Whenesota.com.
Very cool, man. Look, I really appreciate it, and I think in April. Maybe we'll do it again, and we'll get a couple other North Stars rubes, and we'll sit here and cry about the fucking North Stars leaving, or the actual date when it was announced that they were going to leave.
That would be good, like the anniversary.
Yeah, the anniversary of the announcement, and we can just sit here
for
and
sure. I think
drink.
it's March 13th is what it's something like that.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll look at it. And is that a Ham's beer hat, by the way?
It is. I wore it just for you. This my grandpa, this is my grandpa's hat. He worked at the brewery, man. I wore it just for you.
Dude, that's amazing. I am extremely jealous.
I normally wear my Saints hat. This was just for you, brother.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it. Dude, thank you so much.
The bill is like crushed.
Oh, dude, that's why it's great. That's why it's great. And I'll have to send you this, because I'm not going to put it on my fucking car. But if you want
I love it. I'll put it in the Zoom background here.
There you go. Hold on. We'll say goodbye after the air.
Okay.
Next week is the Listener Drunken Summit. We are doing that's right. Listener Drunken Summit. I've got about 5 of you crazy bastards that are going to be on. Scotty from Canada, Lori, the fucking killer koala from Australia, and Tony Garcia from Kansas City. It's going to be great. We are going to be fighting about which is better, Back in Black or Highway to Hell. And I'll get a couple former panelists on as well to join us. After that, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen. Just you guys know the drill. It is at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Please subscribe to the show on Spreaker. And then subscribe to the YouTube channel. You'll be watching this on YouTube as well later on. If you want to donate to the show, izzypresley@yahoo.com. I mean, it is Christmas, Take care of your pal Izzy here. Scotty says, yeah, baby, thanks for another great show. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you. And, of course, I'll have to play your soundbite.
Take off, you hoser!
That's the take off, you hoser soundbite. Absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Buy merch, buy t-shirts, buy all that shit. Once again, my name is Izzy Presley. And don't forget, while lacking talent,
I make up for in cock.